Coming up on SBU TV, plans to fix the roads around St. Bonaventure's campus have been pushed off until spring, and the on-campus gym has a new look that has some students wanting to spend more time working out. Hello and welcome to SBU TV. I'm Christy Andrzejewski.
And I'm Lauren Adams. First this morning, we have an update on a story SBU TV brought you earlier this year. Many remember the story involving SBU sophomore William Markey, who was charged with third-degree rape after allegedly having non-consensual sex with another St. Bonaventure student in her dorm room last semester. After posting bail and appearing in Allegheny Town Court multiple times last spring, Markey turned down a plea deal and after being suspended from school, returned to his hometown of Baldwinsville. Then, on August 19th, Markey was charged by a Cattaraugus County grand jury with third-degree rape, second-degree burglary, and first-degree trespassing from the incident in January. Markey was arraigned on these charges earlier this week by Judge Michael Menno at the Cattaraugus County Courthouse in Olean. He pled not guilty and is scheduled to appear back in court on November 8th. SBU TV will bring you updates on this story as they become available.
A new school year always brings new students to take the place of graduates, but the St. Bonaventure Facilities Department was forced to replace key management before classes even began. SBU TV's Tony Jones has more on the changes in housekeeping at St. Bonaventure.
Each employee of St. Bonaventure University is granted certain privileges beyond the wages they receive. Benefits include the remission of tuition for the children of employees at the university. A scenario arose on campus when the housekeeping staff's management was moved to an outside company, a situation that Phil Winger, Associate Vice President for Facilities, said occurred at the end of the summer.
Department manager and the daytime supervisor left at about the same time, so and this is in the middle of our summer busy season, trying to get everything ready for the fall, and we really needed some experienced help right away.
Oftentimes, the housekeeping staff takes care of things that most students don't even consider, like trash removal. With a dire need at the management position, Winger said the university contacted someone they were very familiar with.
We turned to Aramark. They are familiar with this kind of business. We do have a relationship with them in the dining hall, and they were able to bring in somebody on fairly short notice. Joe Ebstel is his name. He is the interim housekeeping manager. And he was available because he was just finishing up a maternity leave at another institution.
Aramark's responsibilities, Winger said, are no different than if the manager was employed by the university.
Directing the day-to-day operations of the people and looking ahead towards supplies and necessary purchases. Those are St. Bonaventure purchases, so they bring that information to me and I sign off on things and we buy the toilet paper and paper towels that we need.
According to Winger, the housekeeping staff, whose main responsibility is the upkeep of the dormitory buildings for St. Bonaventure students, will not lose employee benefits under this new interim change.
That is our firm expectation that they will remain St. Bonaventure employees for the foreseeable future. Nobody wants to, go beyond the next year or two, but that's on anything. But that's the expectation.
For SBU TV, I'm Tony Jones.
Winger said the search for interim management took just over 2 weeks to complete and that the university is exploring other options for the future.
The $2 million campus road project at St. Bonaventure was supposed to begin this summer, but a delay in state approval pushed off plans until the spring. Liz Witter has the story.
These sounds will be heard for a while longer. State approval for the campus road project is taking longer than expected.
It is not a delay in the money, in the funding process per se, but it is a delay in the elaborate approval process.
Associate Vice President for Facilities, Phil Winger, says the contract for road improvements should have been done months ago.
What we thought was going to be ready to go out for bid in June is just about ready to go out for bid now.
And with winter just around the corner,
we're at the point where we're not going to be able to do anything practical until the spring.
The project includes more than just campus roads. It'll extend the Allegheny River Trail across the front of campus, creating a 2.5-mile loop. The grant covers 80% of the costs, but prior work doesn't count.
Whereas work that we would do in advance does not count.
Singer says the roads will be done. Work will begin in the spring. For SBU TV, I'm Liz Witter.
The project also includes construction of a warming house on a road on the east side of campus for added safety. That road will also be straightened.
SBU students were greeted with new top-notch equipment in the Richter Center when arriving on campus this semester. I headed to the gym this week to check it out. The Richter Center replaced all of its cardiovascular equipment with newer cutting-edge machines. And with this technology, you don't have to pay extra for personal sessions to keep you in shape.
There's a virtual trainer on there, so that's somebody that will encourage you as you're working out.
It's like you're one with the machine. It's kind of weird. It's like your personal trainer. It's really cool.
New machines provide different workout views to choose from, including a 1-mile track, a 5K trail, and a mountain climb that can also promote a harder workout.
If you're working out and you decide, well, I'm only going to work out for 20 minutes, and you're halfway up the mountain, hopefully you're going to say, you know what, I'm not done yet. I'm gonna reach the top of the mountain.
The new equipment provides more than just a workout. It offers a personal HD TV, an iPod dock that allows you to charge your iPod while playing the music off the screen, and a USB port to download and record your workouts.
It's very innovative, and when you run on it, you're able to make your own workouts, and you can actually plug a USB in and take it home with you. So you can track how far you run if you're training for an event or something.
The university also added 3 of the new X-Ride machines.
It's a mixture between a recumbent bike and an elliptical machine. We demoed one of them last year and got great reviews.
Since the Richter Center opened in 2004, the university has leased its equipment on a 3-year agreement. When the lease is up, the equipment is replaced.
The great thing is that every student that comes to St. Bonaventure, at least once while they're here, they're going to have new cardio equipment.
The cost to lease the equipment is $73,000 a year. The funding for the equipment comes out of the student activity fee that all students pay. 7 years ago, student government voted to raise the fee to make leasing new equipment possible.
Coming up, St. Bonaventure students have a new way to save money on textbooks, and one student will celebrate his 21st birthday
There's
a little
something
differently.
you should know about me. I'm cold. I'm calculating. I get what I want. If you get in my way, I'll wreak havoc upon you. I can leave you weak, limp, twisted, confused. If you want to live to see tomorrow, you answer to me, and you answer quickly. I am a stroke.
Learn to recognize a stroke and act quickly. Time lost is brain lost.
Back to school means back to the books for St. Bonaventure students. But this year, I found out book shopping could be much less expensive. St. Bonaventure students know the hassle of back-to-school book shopping, and they've come to associate buying books with high prices. But this year, they may be surprised when they hear their total at the bookstore checkout counter. That's because this year, St. Bonaventure is offering students the chance to rent their textbooks, an opportunity that could save students over 50%.
Just with the economy and kids just being able to afford college alone, textbooks is such a big expense. And we felt that renting would be a big load off of them.
When renting books, there is a procedure students must follow.
You need to put up a card for collateral, just in case you don't bring your books back. You need to sign on your email and finish the registration. And then when you come back to rent again, it's easy.
But even with that process, students have one main reason they are enjoying the new rental option.
It's cheaper, way cheaper.
Renting would give us the opportunity to get the same books, but for half the price.
Rentable books are marked by this red arrow. And while not all titles qualify, St. Bonaventure students will find 40% of the books in this bookstore are available for rent. And with this opportunity, the university stands to benefit from the savings.
So when students support the store, they're supporting their school. So I think renting is another great thing. It's going to bring them into the store. And maybe they'll save some money on a book and be able to buy that sweatshirt they wanted or the Vera Bradley they wanted. So we think maybe it's going to bring more business into non-text into the store.
And with both students and the university benefiting from this new opportunity, bookstore officials hope this is something that will continue for a long time.
It's just the more money the store makes, the more money the school would make, and it would really help out and keep everything moving along. And look good for the school and the campus, and it makes everybody happy.
For SBU TV, I'm Lauren Adams. There are more than 700 other universities in the U.S. and Canada that offer book rentals.
Enrollment is up this year at St. Bonaventure, and university officials say low enrollment is no longer a concern. Erin Lowry reports.
The Bonaventure admissions team was able to successfully recruit students from areas such as Buffalo, Cleveland, and New Jersey.
And at this point in time, the university is very pleased because overall the enrollment between freshmen and transfer students has been almost 600 students, and that has put us in a great place. We've seen an increase in both traditional freshmen as well as an increase in transfer students over last year's enrollments. Since last year, we're up both traditional freshmen and transfer students, and somewhere between 60 and 70 students total. Again, the numbers aren't official until next week. There does seem to be a trend that we have an increase of transfer students, and that's pretty consistent with, I think, what the trends are across the country, because we're a tuition-driven institution, so the way we achieve our goals in terms of budget is by the number of students who pay tuition and the amount of tuition that they pay.
With the increase in enrollment, there has been a rise of residential students, like those living in Falconio Hall.
Part of that increase in occupancy has come from a larger class size for the incoming freshman class, and also a larger transfer student community as far as the number of transfer students arriving at the universities. So we don't have our exact numbers finished yet. The final census for the university comes out on the third Monday of classes, but all of our numbers are pointing to a larger residency rate, and we're hovering around 93% occupancy for the entire campus as far as the number of beds we have versus the number of beds that are full.
Even with the positive results of enrollment this year, the admissions team is already starting the process to recruit for 2015. For SBU TV, I'm Erin Lowry.
The admissions team travels to high schools to attract students through college fairs and visits.
School budget cuts may mean some Massachusetts parents will have to pay for bus service themselves. Right now, many are driving their kids to school, and that solution is creating a traffic nightmare. CNN's Jonathon reports.
Just look at this traffic jam outside Barberry Elementary School as parents who find themselves without school bus service wait to pick up their young kids. Cars back up outside with some impatient drivers zipping into the wrong lane just to get by. And there's not a cop nor a crossing guard anywhere in sight.
Wait till the winter comes, this could be even worse.
In an effort to cut costs, Framingham announced over the summer school bus service would be severely cut.
The original plan was to do away with 10 buses, saving $500,000, but that would mean no student who lives within 2 miles of his or her school would get bus transportation, free or otherwise.
Outraged parents call their opposition a safety issue.
I think 2 miles is kind of far to ask young children to walk.
It's horrible. I think it's terrible, and given the fact that Framingham, a lot of streets in Framingham don't have sidewalks, I think it's another huge issue, and they didn't hire any extra crossing guards, so, you know, not a good plan.
Now it could be a money issue. The school committee looking at restoring bus service, but at a big cost, $400 to $500 per student, depending on how many people sign up. This woman has 2 kids.
Can you afford $1,000?
Heck no. I think it's outrageous what they're charging. I don't think it should be that much. You're really penalizing the parents, and it's not fair.
School officials say they're looking at reality, $6 million worth of cuts that have to come from somewhere.
We're trying to do the best we can. You know, the biggest issue is how do we get better funding for schools so that we're not put in the situation of making a series of really bad decisions.
The superintendent says the current budget is set in stone, so if more service is added, parents will have to pay for it.
Saturday marks a very special birthday for SBU student and rugby player Patrick Hart. Patrick, or as Moses Bonner knows him as Ralphie, celebrates his 21st birthday this Saturday, but a little differently than he expected. What started out as a common case of mono last April at the end of Patrick's sophomore year led him to a diagnosis of a rare blood cell disease called HLH, which occurs in only 1 in 1 million mono cases. Now, instead of his original birthday plan of an Allegheny bar crawl, Patrick is preparing for a bone marrow transplant that is hopefully scheduled for the end of September. A successful transplant will give him a strong enough immune system to rid his body of the disease. Patrick's mom says his goal is to recover as quickly as possible after the transplant and return to SBU, hopefully by next August.
The rugby guys say, you're a rugby player, you're strong enough. There's nobody stronger than a Bonaventure rugby player, so he's hoping to be out of the hospital quickly, but it all depends. Each person is different.
Patrick's parents reached out to the SBU community asking everyone to send a birthday card to him. They said since they can't give him an actual party, they want to give him a card party. And many at Bonas have a special birthday message for him.
Miss you, Ralph, and can't wait for you to come back.
The day that he's allowed to snowboard, I will be driving down to Virginia, and we're going to pick some resort and we're going to go ride.
We can only admire people who rise to that challenge with courage and dignity, and I have every confidence that Patrick will do the same.
The news team here at SBU TV joins in polling for Patrick.
This weekend marks the 9th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks on New York City and Washington, D.C. To commemorate the event, the SBU community will be holding its annual Remembrance ceremony Friday afternoon. The ceremony will include a prayer and a moment of silence and will give students and faculty members at St. Bonaventure a chance to remember those who were affected that day. We will have more on this story next week on SBU TV.
Ramadan draws to a close this week, and Muslims are being told to ease up on what's normally a festive celebration. As CNN's Mary Snow reports, it's all because of the anniversary marking 9/11.
As Ramadan draws to a close later this week, these worshipers are being advised to tone down what is usually a celebratory occasion.
After 30 days of fasting, this is the month, that's the end day for our celebration.
How will it be different this year?
This year will be a little different, we are not celebrating we're supposed to do, we normally do, especially because of 9/11.
The end of Ramadan or Eid, depending on the moon Thursday night, falls on either Friday or Saturday, which is September 11th. But many Muslims have decided to mark it on Friday. Imam Al-Amin Abdul Latif is the head of the Islamic Leadership Council in New York, an umbrella group of Muslim organizations.
I guess people may look at Eid as being a protest, against people who may be celebrating.
One Muslim group, for example, celebrates Eid at Six Flags Parks. This year, organizers have been careful not to schedule their events for September 11th. It comes against the backdrop over anger about the proposed Islamic Center near Ground Zero and protests at other mosques around the country. Muslims are trying to send out their own message, like this public service announcement created through grassroots efforts.
I don't want to take over this country.
One Muslim leader who works with an interfaith youth group in Chicago says he feels the attitude toward Muslims this year is unlike any other.
Frankly, I have not felt this fearful. A mother came up to me at my Muslim house of worship earlier this week and said to me, "Ibu, when will my 8 and 10-year-old sons stop being bullied on the playground because of their names, Ahmad and Akbar?" And what I said to her is very soon, because the forces of inclusion in America have always defeated the forces of intolerance, and they will defeat the forces of intolerance again.
This 9/11, this mosque in Westbury, New York, will dedicate a peace garden with other clergy. But it's also asked local police for protection following a suspicious incident of broken windows at the mosque. Imam Latif says his group has also decided not to hold a counter-protest Saturday supporting the Islamic Center near Ground Zero after the families of 9/11 victims requested they not hold the rally.
We're encouraging our people to be calm, to be patient, but be firm and be strong, and to reach out,
And this Islamic Center, for one, is opening its doors to hold open houses with the aim of promoting understanding. Mary Snow.
Coming up on SBU TV Sports, there's a Dallas in Cattaraugus County.
Get up, stand up, jump on my sister, don't give up the fight. We never give up the fight. You got to let them know how. Never give up the fight. Oh, get up, stand up, what we gonna do? Stand up for a ride. Get up, stand up, oh yeah, don't give up the fight.
There are new faces and new places on the St. Bonaventure campus this fall. Leah Murphy found one new member of the athletics staff.
Bonaventure has a new sports information director, although new at Bonnie's, he's not new to sports.
Dallas Miller went to St. John Fisher College in Rochester, where he played football for 4 years.
He played right offensive tackle. He's number 76 in the red jersey.
I was a football player, and I think, sometimes when people meet me, they don't really realize it. I was quite a bit heavier then. I was an offensive lineman. And, since then I've run 2 half marathons. Didn't really need to eat like a football player anymore. But yeah, I was a football player in college, and now I'm working in athletics.
Miller says a passion for sports is essential when you're in this profession.
I don't think you could do this job if you didn't love sports. Obviously, being a football player, football is close to my heart. I have a passion for that. But just sports in general, I'm always, if I could watch one channel, it's always ESPN. Always Sports Center, whatever's on there is fine with me. So I'm very much a fan of all sports, and I think that's very much a prerequisite for this position because you spend a lot of long nights in the office, you're working a lot of non-traditional hours with a lot of sports, and if you don't actually love it, if it's not something that you're really passionate about, it's going to wear on you and you won't be here long.
St. Bonaventure's athletic director tells us about Dallas Miller and why he is the one for the job.
Dallas brings a pretty strong technology background, and the new, the social media, Facebook, Twitter, those kinds of things. I think you'll see some upgrades coming out of our athletic department. He's also interested in doing some video features on the website, which is something that we haven't done in the past as much as we'd like to. So he kind of brings that young, fresh, new ideas, not just to the website, but to all of our coaches, and I think that that'll be a big asset for us.
Being an SID is a lot of work. You must know how to juggle athletics and media and how to connect them to the outside world.
I think as the SID, our primary goal is to promote the institution through athletics. And we do that by managing the website, writing the press releases, creating media guides and other types of publications, and being kind of a media liaison between our athletics teams and the world outside of St. Bonaventure.
Miller has some new ideas that will improve and benefit the whole athletic department.
One of the new initiatives that I'd like to key on is probably the development of video and using some social media, kind of reinvigorating those. We have a presence on Twitter and on Facebook, but we don't have one on YouTube yet. I think that's something that's probably coming down the pipe, and just basically just to keep doing a good job.
Following what you have an interest and passion for can lead you to a profession that you enjoy. For Dallas Miller, going to work every day is a pleasure. For SBU TV, I'm Leah Murphy.
Soccer season for the men and women has already kicked off, so Miller already has a lot to keep him busy. That's all for this week on SBU TV. I'm Lauren Adams.
And I'm Christy Andrzejewski. For the rest of us here in the Coop Lab, thanks for watching.